Despite having a surface area almost as large as Konya, Switzerland is one of the richest countries in the world. It is famous for its obsession with precision and quality, legendary chocolate, and luxury watchmaking. Of course, this wealth does not come only from chocolate and watches. Switzerland is also known for its secure, hard to trace banks, which for many years functioned as a global center for money laundering. The country has more nuclear shelters than its surrounding regions could ever need. Citizens who complete military service are allowed to keep their rifles, which means almost everyone owns a weapon. Yet violent crime remains extremely low. Switzerland has 4 official languages and is made up of 26 cantons. Although it is one of the most expensive countries in the world, it also ranks at the very top in quality of life. Swiss people rarely show off their wealth. However, GDP per capita exceeds 100,000 US dollars, while in Turkey it is around $15,000. Thanks to its unique history and strategic position, Switzerland has built an outstanding reputation in international finance. It is far more than just brands like Rolex, Patek Philippe, Richard Mille, or Toblerone. Geography is actually one of Switzerland's biggest disadvantages. It is a landlocked country, with no direct access to the sea or major trade routes. It has almost no natural resources such as oil, gas, or coal. Its mountainous terrain makes cheap infrastructure nearly impossible, and there is no source of low-cost labor that can easily be industrialized. So how did Switzerland become so rich, despite all these disadvantages? The answer is trust. Whether it is high-value services, world-class trains running through high altitudes, pharmaceutical and agricultural efficiency, or banks that protect both well-earned and sometimes undeserved wealth, Switzerland offers trust. This trust turned the country into a global financial powerhouse. The Swiss economy began rising during the World Wars. While much of Europe collapsed due to war, Switzerland grew stronger. World War I created chaos, and Switzerland learned how to benefit from that chaos. Some argue that Switzerland's position should have been copied by other countries. In reality, every country can be dragged into war, and Switzerland was involved too, just in a different way. The strategy was simple. We won't fight and kill, but we will sell you weapons. While you fight each other, we will continue providing safe and reliable services. Staying officially neutral was not only a political decision, it was a highly profitable economic one. The Nazis stole assets not only from Jewish people, but from many others, and placed much of that wealth in Swiss banks. Wealthy Jewish families and other elites also stored their money there. Germany even sold looted goods to Switzerland to obtain Swiss francs, which were then used to buy steel from Scandinavian countries. Everyone knew what was happening inside Swiss banks, but no one objected. Over time, many of these accounts were forgotten, never traced again. Without the original owner, withdrawing the money became nearly impossible. How much this contributed to Switzerland's economic power is still debated. Swiss people consume about 12 kilograms of chocolate per person each year. The country produces over 450 types of cheese, more than 250 grape varieties, and over 200 kinds of bread. Instead of imports, Swiss consumers strongly prefer high-quality domestic products. Investment in education and research is a top priority. Switzerland is one of the biggest investors in R&D per capita and holds one of the highest patent rates per person. With an average national IQ of 102, the country has produced 27 Nobel Prize winners, one of the highest per capita ratios in the world. While made in China often implies mass production, Swiss made stands for quality, durability, craftsmanship, and attention to detail. Switzerland is highly successful in agriculture and pharmaceuticals, producing wheat, sugar, dairy products, and wine for both domestic use and export. Political stability is another key advantage. Swiss citizens trust their government because they directly participate in public policy decisions, including local issues like whether a street speed limit should be 30 or 50 kilometers per hour. New governments do not erase everything their predecessors built. Leaders are not treated like kings, and gradual change keeps trade stable and predictable. Thanks to the massive wealth flowing into Swiss banks, long-term and stable credit options are available, creating a strong domestic market. Tourism contributes less than 3% of GDP, despite Switzerland's mountains and lakes, which shows how diversified the economy really is. Salaries are high, but so is the cost of living. Switzerland has remained outside the European Union and managed to avoid many of its economic downsides. Low-skilled labor often comes from Eastern Europe, while high-skilled professionals arrive from neighboring countries like Germany, France, Italy, and Austria. Switzerland exports heavily to these powerful neighbors while remaining largely unaffected by EU politics. Despite widespread gun ownership, the Swiss are a peaceful society. Even though many keep their military weapons after service, they rarely use them. No discussion of Switzerland is complete without its banks. Swiss banks are famous and infamous for secrecy. This reputation alone has attracted enormous amounts of wealth, earning the country the label of a tax haven in popular culture and Hollywood films. Switzerland has no natural resources, but its banks are its resources. During the World Wars, while other European nations imposed heavy taxes to fund the war, Swiss banks turned fear into opportunity by offering secrecy. Revealing client information became a criminal offense, formalized in 1934 under the Federal Banking Act. This strong currency, wartime neutrality, and long history as a safe haven greatly increased Switzerland's credibility during crises. However, the country has also been heavily criticized for serving dictators, criminals, arms dealers, corrupt organizations, and tax evaders. The scenario was always the same. If your money was illegal at home, it was safe in Switzerland. If you were arrested, your money was safe in Switzerland. If you died, your money remained safe, sometimes forever. The truth is, everyone criticizes Swiss banking until they need it. The banking sector has played a massive role in Switzerland's economy, funding investments in education, healthcare, and infrastructure. In 2018, the Swiss Bankers Association estimated that Swiss banks held around 6.5 trillion US dollars in assets, about 25% of all cross-border global wealth. Although international pressure has forced reforms and transparency agreements, wealthy individuals continue to choose Swiss banks because of experience, stability, and service quality. Banking secrecy still exists, just under stricter conditions. External authorities must meet very high legal standards to access client information, and many countries dislike these requirements. In 2018, Transparency International ranked Switzerland as the third least corrupt country in the world. Yet, paradoxically, due to its powerful banking sector and offshore services, it is also frequently accused of facilitating money laundering. The Swiss economic model cannot be easily copied. Not every country can remain neutral in wars. Not every country has such difficult terrain for invasion. And not every country can build this level of trust. The lesson is simple.